All right, what's up with Mike today? VSZN podcast number 4. I'm still trying to figure out your last name. Mike Koziel.
You're good.
Okay, cool. All right.
You're basically there. Yeah.
So we've met probably, I don't know, a couple months ago via Instagram DMs.
Definitely over 6 months ago.
6 months ago. Okay.
Like last year, I think.
We just finally linked up maybe in the past like 2 or 3 months though. And I think I found your stuff through my buddy Alex, who's in the car scene pretty heavy. And I think stumbling upon you, I found that you actually did a lot of music video stuff. So basically what I want today to be is just kind of like for people to be able to go on your profile and like follow you and like know who you are as a person and like what you're all about and kind of what you do. So I'll just like let you talk about yourself, how you got into filmmaking for a few seconds.
Yeah, we can start with that.
Cool. Well, I guess before anything, did you get into cars first or did you get into filmmaking first?
I was into cars first.
Yeah.
Forever. My aunt owned a car dealership. So whenever I had like days off and I couldn't go to my grandma's place, I had to go to work with my mom and I'd like move the cars around with them and shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I can curse on this, right?
Absolutely.
I slip the S word every now and then. I was super into cars, and then I guess the way filming started was when I was in high school, I wanted to be like a part of a club, you know, because everybody had their thing. Yeah. So my friend convinced me to join Yearbook, and they needed photographers to like shoot school clubs and extracurriculars, you know, stuff. So I got a Nikon D40, no video DSLR yet. That was like super throwback.
What year is this?
This was like 2007. Okay. I think. And even before that, I had a little like a little handy cam. Yeah. That I used to film my friends riding BMX, but I got that stolen at the Brooklyn Banks.
Awesome.
Messed that up, yeah. So I got the photo camera, shot photo for the school yearbook, and then my school had a skateboarding club, and I went to go shoot photos for them one day, and this kid had a VX cam. Yeah. And he was like, "Yo, can you shoot me doing this line real quick?" And I was like, "Yo, I've never shot video." And he was like, "No, just do it. It's easy." And I shot him doing the line, and it was like a whole new dimension of like shooting, you know what I mean? Because photos you can like snap, and I wasn't doing like Photoshop or anything crazy, you know? But video was just like, it just felt so good right away. Right. And then that just kind of like ballooned into video taking over my life.
I feel like a lot of people, and me and Chris have talked about this, that everyone like, the way everyone gets into filmmaking is it's weirdly like action sports. Because that's how I got into like taking photos was skateboarding, because I sucked at skateboarding while my friends were super raw. So I would literally like I picked up a T2i for like my 16th birthday. I was stoked on that. Had like the Kitlins and everything. I thought I was the man. And we'd go to the skate park every single weekend and shoot. And then I figured out that these things could shoot video too. And it was kind of like the same experience where I like switched into video mode and like recording. I was like, holy fuck, like I can make something completely different than just like photography. You have like almost 2 different mediums, but it's all within like the same device I'm using to create. And that was awesome to me.
Yeah. Dude, same T2i was my first video. Yeah. Also. And dude, same deal. I rode BMX like every single day. And all my friends were better than me. So like I was doing photo because when I got the camera for Yearbook, I shot like BMX. And then after that skate club day, I was like, yo, we got to start shooting video. Right. Of all of us BMXing. So that's kind of like how that all happened. And then
and this is all New Jersey.
This is all New Jersey.
So you're born and raised there. Didn't move anywhere else. So
No. Well, my parents split when I was young, and my dad lived in the city. Yeah. So I was like going to the city all the time, and he forced me to like go to a bunch of like artsy stuff with him, like Broadway plays and whatnot. And I like hated that stuff when I was younger. But now looking back, I like don't know if it's like I don't know, like had an influence at all, but.
You would think it does, yeah.
I think New York itself, like as a city, definitely had an influence. Because like, I know you want to move to New York now, but like, I can't stand it at this point. Really? In my life, yeah. I mean, like, I just love LA's.
What I like about New York, and you seem like the type of person who would like LA more than New York because you're very laid back, easygoing. Like you still grind your ass off, but you're very like. The few times we've hung out, you're very chill and like calm and collective, and like everything's cool. Like I'm just like I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and like. That's like very LA, which I think is awesome. But I'm very like, especially after living in Chicago, where like a car honking at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. was like my alarm clock, and like everyone's moving like this all day, every day from like 4 a.m. to like midnight. Like I just really dug that. So yeah, I like the whole fast pace kind of energy of New York, but I think it's cool to also kind of have this as headquarters because it's very like chill and laid back. And if you want to go somewhere and be super moving quick and go all that, you can travel for shoots. But when you come back here to home, it's like you can relax and just chill.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool.
I mean, that's a great luxury of what we do. Is that we can have a home base and still like, you know, work.
Yeah, and I never think about it like that. Like I think I always do. I loved living in Chicago and just love the fast moving energy. But it is cool to come back here after, you know, like I was just in New York and it was cool coming back here and just being like, can decompress. Everyone's like very chill here and you know it's a lot slower. I can go to the beach, can enjoy like the palm trees in the sun.
Dude, I never go to the beach, man.
Really?
I don't think I've only gone maybe once, and I've lived here for like 2 years, almost 2 years.
I probably go once a month. I'm really not. I think it's cool to. I mean, like.
Yeah.
I like the tropicalness of everything, but I'm with you. I think the reason why I don't go is just because I don't want to have to hop in a car and wait like an hour to get to Santa Monica.
I was gonna say neither of us really live close. Like Shady lives like 10 minutes from the beach. He's always at the beach.
That's right. Yeah, that's what me and him were talking last week. We had a shoot, and he was saying that like that's what keeps him in LA is because he lives in Venice, so he can literally walk outside his crib and go straight to the beach. With us, we gotta hop in our car. You gotta sit in traffic. You gotta find somewhere to park, and then you're finally at your location. But by the time you get to that point, you're just kind of like, I'm just ready to like go back home and do
you're
something else.
The clock, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what's neat about living by the beach. So I think I wouldn't mind living close to the beach, but yeah, it's funny though. We're not that far away from the beach. It's just LA traffic makes it feel like forever, I mean, Santa Monica is what 10 miles from here. Like that should only be a 15-minute drive, like in a normal place.
Well, that's where I'm going after this.
Really?
Like 45 minutes. Yeah, that's where our office is.
It's gonna be a minute. Okay, so you get into so you have this whole action sports like explosion that goes through your head that you love this whole video aspect of everything. So what's the next step? It's like, what is this, 08, 09 at this point?
Yeah, so 08, 09, it's like SAT, ACT season, you know. Parents are bugging me to get good grades and shit, which I did. I was like a good student. And when it was time to look for schools, I was going to major in computer science. I was taking like a programming class.
What made you pick that?
Dude, I was a huge nerd in high school, bro.
Yeah.
I was like playing World of Warcraft. I was in the robotics club, but I was filming like robotics club and filming BMX and all that shit. But
yeah, I remember that like World of Warcraft, like RuneScape, like era,
it was bad. It was bad. That was Saturday and Friday nights.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too.
I think everyone had that like, gaming stage though. Like I was super into gaming in like I think 7th through like 9th grade. Like I wanted to be like a professional like gamer.
Dude, that's when I think Halo 2 was out, and that was like bad, bro. We played a lot of that. But so I did a ton of like campus tours, and I was touring them as someone wanting to do computer science, but like deep down I wanted to do film. And to my parents that sounded like ridiculous, you know what I mean? But thankfully they let me do whatever I wanted to do. So I applied to a bunch of schools for filmmaking, got accepted to Drexel in Philly, and then started that new chapter of college life.
What made you pick Drexel?
Drexel wasn't my first choice. Emerson in Boston was my first choice.
Yeah.
They had like, dude, they bought a movie theater like in the city, and it became like their film department's movie theater. So you would have like classes in there, screenings in there. It was like a full size like the main theater room.
That's awesome. That
just felt like the idea of like me and my friends shooting stuff and then being able to like watch dailies and do all that in the movie theater was like crazy.
You can't really go past that. Yeah, it's like the ceiling you would hit right there. Yeah,
like everything they were just saying to me was just music to my ears. You know, like it seemed like the perfect school. So they were my first choice. I got waitlisted, and then eventually denied. And then Drexel was my second choice. Yeah. So, growing up in New York, I wasn't a fan of Philly. I still am not a big fan of Philly.
Why is that? Is that just an East Coast thing? People just don't like Philly from New York or New Jersey?
No, it's just they're two totally different cities. Like Philly's a much more like blue collar, like you go to the bar and you recognize like, you know, whatever bar you go to, you know everybody there. It's like smaller city, much more like brotherly love than, you know, New York. But like, I love New York. It's just like not good for me right now, because I need this like LA vibe. Yeah. But like New York's got like the hustle and bustle, and everyone around you think they have their shit together, you know, and they're going somewhere because they have to go somewhere. And that's like, in New York, I feel like if I'm not doing something, I have to be doing something because everyone around me is doing something. Like,
so that's what you like about California? Is
that's what I like about New York.
Oh, you like that in New York, that you have to be
I like that.
Okay, cool.
But it's like, it's overload for me right now. It's like too much. Because in LA, like, I know people around me are getting their shit done, but it's like, they're doing it on a way different like schedule and mindset, but things still get done. Like I feel like nobody works in this city. It's so weird. That's why there's like always traffic because no one's ever doing anything.
Well, yeah, because no one has like a 9 to 5, so that's why traffic's always messed up the entire day because everyone's going to auditions or going to a shoot or going to meetings just because like there's no rush hour here. Like a little bit in the morning, but it kind of maintains that way, from 9 to 5. That's like when traffic is. So
yeah, the only time I've ever had like nice cruising on the highway is like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. coming home from a shoot,
or like on a Sunday morning or something like that. But yeah, that's something. I mean, that's a lot of people say like the LA traffic thing's not real, or because people have been like, yeah, like there's no traffic in LA, like you think you're over exaggerating, or it's like a cliche. It's like, no, dude, it's a real thing here. And that's like what holds me back from going to a lot of places like the beach. It's like I'm going to send traffic for 50 minutes to go like 10 miles.
Yeah. I've definitely like made the traffic a part of my schedule.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, I'm going to have to go there later. I know it's going to take me an hour, so why don't I?
It's the worst when we have to do gear pickups.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Things may seem relatively close. Like you may have one in Hollywood, one downtown, and then one, let's say, like in Van Nuys. But dude, that's gonna be like a 3 or 4 hour like trip to do all that stuff.
Dude, that's why
depending on the time.
That's why I love like when productions like understand or like have the budget where it's like the day before it's like, yo, me and a PA or somebody are gonna have to go to like all these different destinations and get the gear, and it's like a lot of people don't factor that into like our job, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
So like I don't know how it is in New York because I've never done gear pulls like that in New York, so I don't know.
We did a gear pickup. We had an assistant do a gear pickup and he was gone for like 4 hours.
Yeah, it's just as bad.
Yeah, because we were in Brooklyn and everything was in like middle of Manhattan, and so he came back like 3 or 4 hours later, just picking up like some glass.
Damn, he's got to bring all that stuff on the subway too, or something like that.
Well, fortunately, he just Ubered everywhere, but it was still like a long process. It felt just like LA. What was nice about like Chicago or like living in Texas, like doing gear runs, like
it's easy.
You can go 20 or 30 miles and be back in like 45 minutes, just because like it's like traffic's like not a thing. I shot a short film in Dallas. This was like 4 weeks ago, and I was staying at my parents' place, and every single shooting location was in a place called Denton, Texas, which is like right above Dallas, and it's probably 45 miles. It took me 35 minutes, 40 minutes to get there.
Unheard of.
With traffic, 50 minutes. So like, it was a super easy drive, and I'm going like a pretty far distance versus like something that's like 40 miles in LA. I mean, you're looking at like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
40 miles in LA, bro. You're coming back in the evening.
Oh yeah, exactly. So that was a big switch up. So, all right. So getting back on track. So you so you have this computer science degree, and you decide to go.
Well, So my dad wanted me to do computer science.
Yeah, and then you decide to go to Drexel.
Yeah. So in Drexel, I love the whole film school versus no film school argument because both of them are equally pro and con weighed. I feel like everyone has a unique experience in either.
Well, my answer for that too, when that debate comes up, is just it's a variable. It's subjective.
Yeah.
There's no
100%.
Yes or no answer, and I think people are looking for a yes or no answer, but it's it's way more advanced than that because it depends where you're at in your filmmaking career, what you want to do. Do you have work on the side? There's all these different questions that you have to have answered.
Yeah. Do you want to climb the genie ladder? Do you want to be a director?
Right.
What do you know? So I'm a fan of film school just based on my experience.
Totally.
I feel because not the three things. Well, off the dome, 3 things, but 3 of the things that really benefited me at film school were all the people I met who are now doing great things in the film industry.
100%.
We got to screw up on a lot of things that if we were on real jobs and we made those mistakes, we would have not gotten another job. So
right.
It was great to screw up and not have any repercussions. And Drexel's program, they have your junior year you have to go do a 6-month internship somewhere. So I chose to do it in LA, and even the summer before that you could stay in Philly or do a summer in LA. So I did LA both years in a row. And that was the first time I've ever been to LA or experienced it. And because of that, it showed me now my favorite city to live in, So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, okay, so I'm glad that you're a big fan of film school, because I am too, but I dropped out of film school. So it's kind of I'm glad we're opposing ends right here.
Yeah.
I think with my experience was that I went into film school already having paid work on the side. So I was already, so my big thing was that I was going to class, but I had to skip a lot of class because I was booking shoots like on the weekends, and I would literally skip like my film one class, skip it to shoot a music video, and then turn that music video in as like a homework assignment. And like my class hated that. It was like not cool.
But we used to do the same thing sometimes.
But I think people had this idea that I thought I was like better than everyone because I would skip class and it would come off as like I'm too good for you guys, and I would come back with something I made over the weekend, and that would be like what I turned in. And so with my experience, it was that, and then plus everything was very like slow, and like it just started off at a very remedial rate. Like we were learning like how to put like an SD card inside a camera, or like what a wide shot was, what a medium shot is, and like while it's going on, like emailing clients, like talking over like a budget for a video. So it's not that I thought I was better than anyone or that I knew everything. It was just like I went to film school to make connections, but I was already doing that outside of class. So in my head, it was an opportunity cost to say, okay, do I spend the next 4 years here doing classes 16 hours a week, or do I drop out and then take that all that time that I would have in class and put that towards like what I'm doing right now? And so that was the reason for me dropping out. But did you graduated?
I graduated.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, I did see like when I started film school, my only like I've never worked on a real production or anything before that.
Totally.
So like not my idea, but I was like blind to a lot of like the things that happen on a film set. You know, like in my head I knew what a cinematographer was, but I had no idea what G&E was. I had no idea what camera department was. You know, I just like watched movies and shot some BS with my friends. So like going to school, we like freshman year we had those whole like this is 16:9, this is 4:3, like you know like the basic stuff. But at the same time, like seniors were doing senior projects, so I would go out there and be like, yo, if anyone needs anything, like I want to be on set. So I would PA, but I'd be watching G&E like set up lights, which I've never seen before. So I was
you were like a fly on a wall, just kind of seeing everything.
Yeah. And then, but I was not doing anything out of school. It's like not like you were like getting clients. I was just like working on projects, doing all my like math and English and science classes, getting all that shit out of the way. And then you can choose to like leave this in or take it out. But my freshman year, I got suspended for 3 months, and over that time is when somebody linked me with the owner of a clothing brand, Flipsco, who does like car-related clothing, and that's how the whole like, because I always loved cars, but I never connected film with cars until I like was forced to not be at school, and then through that it just like exploded. And then when I went back to school, I was doing the school projects, and then on the side hitting up all these car people, like making the clients like you were. So like eventually it turned into that. And same shit, dude, I would go out and shoot somebody's car, submit it for a project.
Exactly.
People would be like, oh, I can't get a car like that. And it's like, I'm not trying to one up anyone. It's like, it's just me and the assignment. Like, I'm trying to do the best thing I can.
No, exactly.
It's not a competition, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think film school can be, the whole reason I was going to film school was to make connections. But I felt like in a lot of my classes, and everyone has a different experience too, but in most of my classes, like there were three types of people. People like me who like wanted to really like work 24/7 and like start building connections. The sad part was there was very few of those type of people, because the other two were ones who just came to school to like try out film and really just kind of wanted to come to Chicago and like party, and the other half was like, I don't even know if I want to do film. I'm just kind of trying it out. And so those type of people I already know like are going to be gone like in a semester because they don't even like care.
What school is this?
Columbia in Chicago.
Okay, I don't know about it.
It's like it's super small.
Is it like what other majors do they have?
Their main thing's film, but it's an art school, so
okay.
It wasn't like a typical
not like a typical like campus party school type thing.
Well, the camp. What's cool about, and I love like Chicago's my favorite city, and so what was awesome about this was that the campus is downtown Chicago. Like there's no like campus. Like you don't like drive onto campus. Like all the buildings are like within downtown Chicago, so you would walk to class.
Sick.
It was awesome.
That's what Philly was like.
Yeah, no, and I know every single like all these East Coast schools like that are in major cities like that. I feel like are kind of the same vibe where you know the whole campus is really just like in its own little area, you know, in the city, which is cool. You're kind of one with your environment. You're not like stuck on this little campus. Like you're one within Chicago. So it was awesome.
No, that was great. And also like I still rode BMX in college, so like we would like go out with a squad of like 4 or 5 kids and just ride around in the city and like go over to West Philly. There were like really good spots in some of these neighborhoods that like people wouldn't go to for any reason other than to like skate or ride, you know. But through that, we like got to know the city. We got to meet a lot of people. We got to like get life experience, you know. And like going back to how you said you had certain types of kids in your program, we had the same thing, but it was different because like a lot of the kids who were there wanted to be directors, and they were like very pretentious, you know, like their opinions on films were very just like I don't know how to get into it, but like
my school was, I didn't have those people. I had the kids who could tell you every single small detail about every like classic movie that's ever been made from like the 20s to like now, but like the stuff they made in class was terrible. But like they knew everything about film history and like what every single like camera that every director shot on and all this like technical info, but like they could not for the life of them like make any sort of like content for like assignments that was like good. It was the strangest thing. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was just like they were like the lightsaber in Star Wars Episode 5 was serial number 6655, and it was like, okay, cool, like
yeah.
Well, but like they didn't know anything else besides like just the technical stuff behind movies. So they were more movie buffs than like filmmakers.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Well, we had like the thing is there were a bunch of kids in my program who like knew what they wanted. Like I knew a girl who wanted to be a production designer, and I knew a kid who wanted to do sound, and I wanted to do, you know, cinematography. And everyone who was hungry like that weren't, you know, quiet kids. They were like, yo man, I want to do sound. If you need a sound guy, let me know.
100%.
Blah blah blah. So then all of those kids that like found their niche and knew that they could get experience by, you know, providing themselves to everyone else's crews, we were all working every weekend on each other's films, and like through that we made connections, we got experience, like everything that like college provides for you. It's because we all came together, and all those kids who were like pretentious and too good to work with anyone else never had crew because they never took the time to like, you know, just work with everybody else.
Right.
So then when senior year came around and it was time to do like your final film, the kids who were like over the last 4 years like hustling hard on everyone else's projects just to help them out had like 15-person crews, you know. And then those kids that didn't want to be there for anybody because they were too pretentious had like 3-person crews. And like our school had a Red Epic, our school had ridiculous amounts of lighting equipment.
So this is like senior year for you, is like what, 2012?
Senior year is 2014.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so while I was in school, me and a couple kids became, you know, really like best friends. And my homie Rob, who I was just living with, we're not living together anymore, but still best friends.
Yeah.
He really wanted to be a director. I really wanted to be a cinematographer. Our boy really wanted to be a producer. So all of us kind of took those roles and just did our own whatever. So senior year, Rob directed a film that he did like a Kickstarter for and everything, and we rented like $250,000 worth of shit out of our equipment room.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we had to rent like a 5-ton grip truck and all this shit. And
so your school offered a lot of like stuff within film. Like,
yeah,
you had a lot of stuff to
you
work
couldn't
with.
Just go in there and say like I want the red and, you know,
right. Yeah, that was kind of like my school too. Like, you had to
take this class, and completing that class unlocked this gear.
Yeah,
and completing
it's
that.
like a video game.
It kind of
it's like your World of Warcraft days where you had to get to a certain level to unlock something. Yeah.
The cool thing was like if like I would go up to all my teachers and be like, yo, this is like what I want to do. Like I have to take sound class and I have to take this class, but I'd say to like my like I had a teacher, Professor Schwartz, who like used to steady cam out for NFL and all this shit. I would always tell him like, dude, like this is what I want to do, and he would put in good words for me. Like if we had a music video or a car shoot and I couldn't take the keynotes out, he'd be like, yo, Mike's like fine. So I got to like see a bunch of the gear and like work with a bunch of the gear before senior year. Senior year, not saying you don't touch keynotes until senior year, but like,
oh yeah, no,
you know, like, and then going back to when I got suspended, I was offered like I got caught smoking weed, which is ridiculous, and they offered me if I told them who sold it to me, I wouldn't get suspended, but it was a kid in the film program, so I like didn't tell them anything. And he told everybody in the program that like I took the heat for what happened. So when I came back,
you had like mad respect.
I had mad respect, dude. So when I came back, everyone was like, "Dude, work on this set, work on this set, work on this set."
Because they knew you were loyal, yeah.
Yeah. So like,
that's crazy. You get suspended for that,
dude. They were like, "Call your parents before we do," And
This is a college.
This is a college, and I was a nerd growing up.
I guess I went to an art school. That makes sense, cause like, dude, we were the stuff we do in college. Like, no one cared because it was an art school. So, like, I've never done anything past smoking weed, but I know every single person that was like in my. So the dorms at my school weren't dorms; they were like lofts, and so they were like actual like apartments in downtown Chicago. But, like, dude, every single party would be like kids doing acid or like shrooms, trying to like create. And like the school didn't care if you got caught. It was like a slap on the wrist. Like, no one cared. So that's gnarly that you would get suspended for something like that.
We had kids like passed out in the elevator from popping too many pills, and like kids doing serious drugs that are like drugs, dude, like bad things. And like that's
not
why
smoking weed.
When that all happened, like I said, I was a nerd in high school, so I didn't drink, I didn't smoke weed, I didn't do anything. So they were like, tell your parents before we do.
And that like freaked you out probably, yeah.
Dude, the next day I like called my dad and I was like, yo, I got caught smoking weed, and he was like, okay, so what? And I was like, they're suspending me, and he's like, are you serious? Like, over whatever. But honestly, it was one of the best things to ever happen to me.
Well, it's one of those things that like you don't plan it to happen, but because it happened, you unlock this whole like car scene, kind of area of your life that you probably wouldn't have gone without it.
Dude, the whole car filmmaking thing opened, and then when I went back to school, I was just working on everything, and like the only downside was I had to max out on credits every term to catch up, but like that was just more motivation to like get shit done, you know what I mean?
Everything happens for a reason.
Dude, I'm like a huge believer in that shit, man.
Yeah.
Huge believer. Like, how weird is it is that today we're doing this, we never worked together, and coincidentally on Wednesday we're both working together on James's set.
Yeah.
It's like just crazy, man.
Meant to be.
Meant to be.
So you graduate school, and then
Well, a lot of shit happened while I was at school.
Oh, okay.
Like with everything. So I went to school with one of my homies, Etienne Maurice. Shout out Etienne, the homie. When I did my first summer in LA, he had grown up with some of the dudes from Odd Future. So when we were out here, him and Haji Beats were homies, and Haji was like, I want a video. So
what year is this?
This is 2012, I want to say.
So OF's like going crazy right
OF's
now.
nuts, yeah.
OF
Earl is still in, where was he, Somalia or something? Tyler released Bastard, but it was pre-Goblin, I think.
I love the year 2012 because no one knew who OF was besides like skaters and like people were in that. Dude. So it was so dope. I remember the Earl video shot on the VX and like a fisheye. Yeah, that was dope. I remember that. I missed those days because that was like the kids, and we'll go back to this. I hate to sidetrack, but I like the kids these days who are like into like, and I'm not against these people, but who are like into the pumps and the Dexes. Like, that's cool, but like they don't know anything about like 2012 like OF, like how much of an impact they had like on skaters and like creatives, because they were doing stuff that like there was nothing else like that at the time. Because you had like Joey Bash, you had Mac Miller, you had these people, but like OF was like, you couldn't even compare them to anything, and they weren't mainstream. They were just not buzzing. I think they just won a VMA, and so they were kind of like
OF.
Yeah, I remember that. I think in 2011 they won a VMA.
Interesting.
And I came up on my Facebook memories that I posted like
OF
gang or die. But yeah, so you're in LA. It's 2012. Your buddies get offers to do a Haji Beats video. So what happens after that?
So he Haji's like, yo, Mike G wants a video first. So we did a video from Mike G and Left Brain, and what's cool is like because we were in school, we were like forced to. We were constantly learning these ways to do things, and we were directly like, now that's been a few years after school, I don't remember everything. I just remember like what is like habit, you know what I mean? But back then we were like, just like, it was one of the first videos we've ever done, but it was, in my opinion, like the way we did it, it was so well done because it's like a story music video. Yeah. There's like only one or two performance scenes, but like it all came together so well. Mike G and Left Brain loved it. It got like a decent amount of views, and then
for 2012, yeah.
Well, dude, I feel like there were more views back then because there was no algorithm BS. So like, I was looking back actually a few days ago. Like, if we posted something on Facebook, it would get like 100 shares, and then from there it would get however many shares, and like it would just like spread. Now because of like the algorithm, you post something on Facebook, you get like 10 views or something. It's crazy. Yeah. And like back then, this was like like Instagram blow up, so we were still on the forums, we were still on message boards, you know, like that's how it was getting out. I think World Star and Hot New Hip Hop was still like a poppin' thing.
Dat Piff was definitely a thing.
Dat Piff, dude. Yeah. Oh yeah. One of our first videos we did, the guy's tape was only available on Dat Piff.
Yeah, everyone had a Dat Piff exclusive. That was crazy if you had that.
Yeah,
that was like the thing.
Dude, I like really old Wiz Khalifa, and the only place I can find some of his mixtapes are on Dat Piff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did the Haji Beats video. That one was great. That one got, I mean, both of them got on like Spin and Complex and XXL and all that shit. And that was like the first time I've ever done anything like that got on something like hip hop related, you know. So I was like,
so that made you even hungrier, probably.
I was so hungry, bro. But and it's like, just from that video, we had so many people hitting us up, you know, because OF was like popping. So they had all these homies that they were like connected with. So we took advantage of that while we were there, but we were only there for 3 months, so we had to like dip back to Philadelphia.
Still a decent amount of time to be in LA though.
3 months? Yeah, it was a good time.
I know it went by super quick probably, but
yeah, it was funny. We had to do an internship and classes while we were here, and I interned at Maker Studios. Yep. They do like a ton of YouTube content, but I was in the art department, so I had to like paint flats and like make props, and like I only did it because like I needed. It was like the second week we were there, and I was one of like only 5 people who didn't have an internship yet.
Yeah, so you kind of were forced.
I took the one that I got, but like it made me realize that I definitely do not want to work in art department. But it also made me realize what art department has to deal with, you know. So like whenever I do shit that requires like a lot of work in art department, I give them like appropriate pre-production time and like ask all the questions, because like without that experience I would have not had like dove into what they do.
Right.
And like that was another cool thing about the film program that I went to, is we all were required to do sound and producing and directing and all, and like we even had an acting class we had to do to like know how everyone like kind of contributes to the whole, you know. So that was pretty dope.
So did anything else happen in college before you graduated, or?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that my school, you have to do a 6-month co-op.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my co-op at Aerofilm in LA, and they do Applebee's commercials, US Navy commercials. Like they're a huge production company, and like being in there and just seeing that like that hyper part of the industry, you know, where like these directors are getting, I don't even know how much a day to like produce these like huge budget spots. Like we worked on I don't like throwing numbers around, but like we worked on a commercial that was like over $1 million budget, and I've never been on that type of set before. So seeing how many moving pieces there are, and seeing how like if you're on this set, you are like at the top tier of your department, right. And like seeing how those people approach things was like insanely like substantial to me, you know. And there's one story I love from I don't like, it sucks, but so they had their interns do a lot of the pre-pro, and they were bidding on a Jaguar commercial, and one of the scenes was in like some massive airplane hangar. So they had me and 4 other interns just constantly pulling stills for treatments, and they were like, we need an air hangar that's like within 200 miles of LA, so like find all of them, find pictures, download all of them, whatever. And he was like, we worked every day from 8 to 6, and they were like, you're probably gonna have to stay late tonight, so like prepare for that. So 6 o'clock rolls around, and one of the interns is like, yo, I'm not getting paid to be here, like I'm going home, like screw this. And everyone else was like, yeah, you're right. So all of them left except for me, and I was like, yo, like I love cars, I'm working on a treatment for a nationwide Jaguar spot, like I'm gonna stay, you know. And then at like 6:30, dude, our boss comes in and he's like, where is everybody? And I was like, they left. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. And he was like, he's like, I like this hangar, find me some more photos and then you can go home. So I left like maybe like 10 minutes later at like 6:40. I go into the office the next morning, and all of the interns are in our boss's office, and he's firing everybody. And he's yelling like so loud, dude, everyone in the office can hear him. And he's like, we have a huge stack of like resumes of people who want to work here, and like you guys have the opportunity and you don't want to be here, so you don't have to be here, so this is your last day. And like for 2 weeks I was the only intern there, and like it just made me realize how like lucky we are, you know, to like be doing what we're doing and get paid for it. So like ever since then, it's like that was like a huge learning experience, you know, to know that like we're lucky to be doing what we're doing. So like I have a problem where I'm on my phone a lot, but like I'm aware of it, but like it's like made me aware of like just like I don't even know, I'm like on a huge tangent right now, but like
no, you're good.
I don't know
this
if I'm still
stuff.
making sense, but
this is like, no, I think it goes to show that I'm sure you left an impression on these people that hard work like gets you places, and definitely these people that you worked for at this production company definitely saw that like you were about, you know, these people that, you know, these peers of yours who left because there wasn't a paycheck, like their true colors got kind of reflected pretty quick because they were in it for the money and not for the experience and not for the...
Yeah, I don't even know what they were in it for. Because
right.
it's like I mean, like, there were some shitty things that we had to deal with there. Like, we met with the guy who produced Survivor, and he was like, yo, Travel Channel wants a TV show like this. There's like a mental challenge, a physical challenge, whatever. Come back with 20 episodes. There were 4 of us, so each of us wrote 5 episodes. And then they picked their favorites, flew to New York, pitched the show, and the show got bought. But we wrote all the episodes, we did all the work. Like, it's our show, but the production company got it, you know what I mean?
So you got no credit for it?
We got no credit for it, we got no pay for it. But it showed me that, like, we can do that, you know? Like,
it's kind of messed up, though.
It's kind of messed up, yeah. But if I had never done that, and, like, now, like, I'm here in LA and somebody asked me to do that, I'd be like, yo, that sounds like way too much for me to handle. But it's not, like, you know... So like, yeah, it's shitty we didn't get paid, but it's like really cool to think that like
you know
we did
that
it.
Yeah, you know that you're able to do that if it ever comes
yeah.
up, and you want to do that for yourself, or if someone hires you out, you can say like that you've done that before.
Yeah,
it was so the experience.
Yeah. So like all of that was super crazy beneficial, and like that, like I said, back when I applied to the school, I like thought the 6-month internship was like a really cool thing, and then after experiencing it, I was like, this is like 100% a thing. But different topic, going back to what you were saying about having clients while you were in school and like trying to like run a business while you were in school. My school never forced us to like take business classes or ever looked at it as like, hey, when you freelance, you're selling yourself, you know? So you got to kind of know how to run a business because you are a business. And they never taught us that. And I used to like argue with our head of like the film department all the time, being like, yo, you need to provide a business class, like even the most simple one, just how to like manage your books and like send invoices and all that shit, because like I had to learn all that when we came out here and like had to start doing it, you know, and it just would have been cool to like...
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak on any curriculum that a school offered because I dropped out my second semester of my freshman year.
Jeez, so you only dealt with the this is how you put an SD card in type shit.
I was very over it after that. Yeah, so but the snakiest thing about the school was that, just random topic, but when we went for orientation, they take you in, they basically like, it's like selling you a car, like selling you like a dream. Like basically what they do is they're like, this is like a normal class we're about to go on right now. This is like what you guys would be doing when you come to class.
We did the same thing.
And so they brought us in, and they don't tell you this at the time, but I figured this out after going to the school. We went into a senior class. This was like the last class you would take before you graduate. But they don't tell you that. They just say, this is like one of the classes that you'll be taking. But they don't tell you they will be taking that class in like 3.5 years. So we go in there. We got mirrors. We're on like a sound stage. And I'm like, this is what I want to do. I can't wait to come to school.
Yeah.
And then like, so I was so set on that. And then like the first semester, we're like in a classroom with a JVC Handycam and like a tripod. And they're like, all right, here's a prompt. Go make something. And it was like, wait, where's like this Amira class with like the sound stage and like all this cool stuff going on? And it's like, oh wait, that's your senior class right before you graduate. And I was like, okay, cool.
That's shitty.
It's all good. Things worked out fine. So when was the move to LA?
So I graduated and lived at home with my mom for a few months after graduation to just like figure out what I wanted to do.
In your head, what did you want to do?
I don't know, dude. I was all over the place because I was dating a girl at the time who lived in New York, so I wanted to be like, I was playing with the idea of being in New York, and then...
Man, those relationships are going to mess you up, yeah.
I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah, no.
But It was weird, dude, because like I had just gotten to school, and there everybody was like, "Yo, in 20 years, let's win an Oscar, like feature film, like vision." You know what I mean? Like wanting to do shorts and features.
Damn.
But then at the same time, I was doing a shit ton of car stuff, which was essentially like videography. As much as I hate that word, but like it was videography, and those are two totally different types of production. And then totally going back, by the way, my freshman year, I worked on a senior project for this dude Kyle Thrash, and Kyle went on and still is like one of my favorite directors to keep up with. He does incredible work. And I don't know if you know the pop punk band Modern Baseball.
Mm-mm.
But they went to Drexel while we were all at Drexel, and they kind of blew up while we were there. So Kyle was doing their music videos. So right when I graduated, Kyle and our buddy John Komar, who also does a ton of music videos, were both hitting me up to AC. So I was like doing car videography, ACing music videos, and then like reading my roommates in college's like feature scripts and shit. So I was like, I had no idea what I wanted to do because those were all totally different types of like career paths, you know?
Right.
So like best advice I've ever gotten from anyone was say yes to everything. So I was just saying yes to everything. And one of my best friends back home, Anthony Purcell, who does a lot of automotive stuff, we wanted to buy an office together with like a psych wall and like everything, and kind of just like have a home base in New Jersey and do all that. So that was the plan. And then I got hired to do a documentary for this like communications company, and one of the shoots was here in LA. So we flew to LA. This was like 4 or 5 months after I graduated, and those kids that I mentioned earlier who I lived with in college, the director and producer and all of them, they all moved here to LA right after college. So I hit them up while I was here, and they like told me about everything they were doing, and they told me like what was going on and like how great LA is. And
you were like, I need to get out here.
I was like, this is it. Like I'm coming out. So I told my girl at the time, and she like was not about it. So I had to deal with that, and then I had to tell my boy that I wasn't like gonna do the studio with him.
It turned into one of those things where you realize you need to please yourself and not try to please others. Like it was something that you probably felt inside, or I can't speak for you, but I would imagine like it was one of those things where it just felt right. And so, I mean, in that situation, I mean, that's tough. You got a girl, and then you have a potential business partner. So like, how do you convince yourself that, okay, this is the right move for me to like look away for these things and focus on LA and like building a career there?
It just felt like what I had to do.
Yeah.
You know, like.
And that's definitely not an easy thing to do either.
No, dude, it was really hard. And like, most of the people involved were not happy with the decision.
Yeah,
like
no.
my family didn't want to see me go. It forced me and my girl to like, I can't do long distance, you know, especially when I'm working all the time. It's just like not fair. So, but
it's like a good type of selfish, but at the same time you're hurting a lot of people. But you're progressing in your own life, so it kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's definitely selfish, and I don't want to sound like a dick, but like your life is your life, and you got to do what you need to do.
Well, that's what I was getting at. Is that I feel like you have to make those decisions.
Yeah.
That even though you want to make these other people happy, it's like that's their, you know, this is your life, and like you got to make sure that you're looking out for your best interest. Yeah,
and I mean like it's a long road, you know. So, but even I forgot that this was like a huge thing before the movie even happened. Kyle, the director who I went to school with, his right-hand DP was AC, or he was a camera PA on Boardwalk Empire, and he couldn't make it one day, so he hit me up and was like, do you want to go camera PA on Boardwalk Empire? It was my first time on a real like television show, and like an HBO one. So he like told me all these things I need to do, and like I made the background on my phone how everyone in camera department likes their coffee, because it was all like crazy, like 1 teaspoon of honey, like a splash of cinnamon, like shit like that. But like it was like everything. Like I learned how to change film inside like the I don't even know what it's called, bro. I feel like shit too, because I should be shooting on more film. But when I did that Boardwalk Empire shoot, I was offered to camera PA on an entire NBC show for like 3 months. So the guy was telling me like, yeah, if you do this, you can start building hours towards like the union and all that. And like that was an opportunity I had on the table, and I denied it because I wanted to come here and like pursue music videos and like just non-union stuff for a while to
Yeah.
like get my feet wet, you know. And like that's one of those things I look back on. Like if I had stayed and done that, would I by now been like in the union doing AC work for a good rate, you know, blah blah blah, consistency,
Yeah.
whatever. But like you said, you just gotta like take a chance and.
Well, it's an opportunity cost, and I think that comes with the entire progression of like someone's career, that you have to make decisions like that. And, like it's not always going to be like a black and white answer, you know.
Yeah.
How are we looking on time?
45 minutes.
Left?
No.
Damn.
45 minutes.
We've been talking.
In. But how long? Does it say how many is remaining? Until it stops, I guess.
Damn, we've been talking.
Oh no, we're good.
So yeah, moved to LA, moved in with Rob and Dimitri, my boys from school,
Yeah.
and
Where you guys living at the time?
we're living in Mid City.
Yeah, my boy Renault lives there.
It's not a bad spot.
No, it's pretty much kind of central. So
We had a car accident like every single week outside though, like drunk drivers like just chilling on parked cars, like just hitting all of them, you know. That was my first time in the helicopter spotlight, being like, yo, this is the car. Like, some dude once crashed and it was a stolen car, he just left it there. And I called the cops and we were like in the spotlight. It was so fucking funny. But,
that's funny.
So, this was when hashtags were popping off.
This is like 2014.
This is like this is 2015, but right before I moved to LA is when hashtags started. So I would like creep on like red camera, like cinematography, all that shit.
Yeah.
And through that, I found Darren Miller, Mike Marasco, James DeFino, like all these dudes out here who are crushing it like hard. So when I moved to LA, I like cold DM'd all of them, and I was just like, "Yo, I'm in LA.
I think we all did. Yeah.
I want to be in camera department. Like, I'll work for free. I don't care. Like, hit me up. You know." None of them answered.
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, that's how it is." So, I've been a huge Playboy Cardi fan since like 2014. I don't know.
Yeah.
And right when I moved here, like I moved here on like a Wednesday or Thursday or something, and that Saturday, Playboy Cardi was playing a show with Keith Ape. Keith Ape was headlining, and Cardi was like one of the openers. And my boy Rodolfo knew somebody who was like with Keith Ape, so he got us backstage to like shoot video and stuff. And when I was there, Darren Miller and James DeFino were hired to shoot Keith Ape. So when I saw them backstage, I was like, yo, I don't mean to like
Be that guy.
but like I've been following you guys since I was in school. Like I DM'd you guys, you probably didn't see it, blah blah blah. And James hit me back and was like, yo man, like why don't you come through and like let's chat and whatever. And also this was when Cardi was still like answering DMs and shit, so I sent Cardi the video and he was like, yo man, I'm gonna repost this.
Is this
blah,
pre
blah,
or
blah.
post Broke Boy?
This is post Broke Boy, but this is pre ASAP, pre all of that.
So he's just like
Like,
SoundCloud popping pretty much.
Yeah, he was the second person up.
Yeah.
There were like 2 artists ahead of him. Yeah, like a 20-minute set. It was
Yeah.
crazy. And then James hit me up, and then James had me AC / like PAing for him on a ton of shit. Like bunch of stuff for Live Nation, bunch of stuff for Post Malone's camp, like First and all those guys. And I guess Darren saw that James had hit me back and I was actually doing stuff with him, so then Darren hit me up to help him out with a Puma commercial, and I was just like PA, and I was so nervous rolling up to Darren's set. It was like a 5 a.m. call time that on my way there I had to pull over and I just like threw up everywhere.
Oh my god.
I was like real nervous, and then I pulled up and it was like a great day. And people say this always happens, and I was like, this never ever happens. It's bull, you know, that's BS. But I went to a shoot with Darren shortly after that, and his AC, like day of, like some type of emergency, couldn't make it. And he was like, yo, do you know how to pull focus? And when I was in school, that's like all I did if I wasn't DPing. I was always first AC and
So
pulling
you're the
focus.
man.
So I was like, yeah, I know how to do it. Like, let's do it. And then I did a good job that day, and I AC'd for him for like a whole year after that, all because something happened. In, like,
So you guys are tight homies now?
I haven't seen him in a minute, dude. He's been like flying to Atlanta to do Migos stuff.
Yeah.
And he like just went to Greece with Ryan Snyder to do
Rick
a
Ross
Rick
stuff.
Ross video. Yeah, so he's like all over the place.
And then Avi just copped a new crib, so.
Avi just copped a new crib. Avi invited me out to that Top Gear shoot, which was unbelievable.
Yep.
But out of that whole group, I don't know if you know who Mike Stud is. He's a rapper.
Absolutely, yeah. East
Yeah.
Coast dude.
Yeah, so Defina, James did a music video for Mike Stud, and Mike Marasco came out to help with that. And that's how I met Marasco. And then Mike just, like, invited me on so many shoots, and that dude's
really
just,
good dude.
like, super good dude, like, would not have been able to do nearly any, like, as much as anything I've done out here without Mike Marasco's help. So huge shout out to him and, like, Chris Valona, all those dudes. They all came up together and know each other, so they all just, like, recommend the same guys and always help each other out and, like, stuff like that. So, and, like, that was another example of, like, how this is, like, a community effort, you know, like, you will not be successful if you don't ask for help and help people in return, you know, because, like, filmmaking is, like, a group thing.
Well, it kind of goes
like,
back to your pretentious director thing you're talking about in school. I think a lot of people move here and they get to this position where they think that everything's a competition and they have to, like, basically, like, not mess with anyone and, like, they're all gonna do it by themselves. And I think it's definitely good to create your own lane, but, like,
yeah,
it should be more of a collaboration process between everyone and less of, like, this competition. Because, like, what are we really after? You know, is it money? Is it success? I think what the true people are after, like me and you, like, we're after, like, making, you know, the best work we possibly can. So we need to work with each other. You know, we can't do that by ourselves. So I wish more people had that type of mindset like you, that it was like, let's, you know, I don't want to, you know, because I'm sure when you first moved out here, you're doing a lot of stuff for free.
Dude, yeah, I did stuff for free for, like, 5 years, dude.
Yeah. So it was one of those things where, you know, you could have said, oh, no, I just moved out to LA. Like, I'm in LA now. Like, I want to do paid stuff. But no, you did a bunch of free stuff, and that got you to where you are now. Like, I think a lot of people at this point, because, like, back then, like, I remember, like, 2012, 2013, even 2014, like, doing stuff for free was, like, normal. But now I think since everyone and, like, their mom shoots music videos or does some sort of video work, like, there's some sort of paycheck expected.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm in a position where I can pay people, I'm going to always try to
Absolutely.
pay people.
But I'm thinking most people don't even take jobs. They may have no experience, and even that point, they still won't take jobs if it's paid. And it's like, dude, you need to get experience and you need to make these connections. Like, it's not about this paycheck.
Yeah,
like, you can keep doing all these paid shoots, but, like, the stuff that's the most beneficial is usually the ones that you can just help out on with bigger people.
Yeah, dude.
And just be present and let people see, like, your face and, like, see you around, you know? It's more than just
I have
the monetary side.
I have two homies who I hire, like, consistently to help me AC and whatnot. And one of them I've been calling less frequently because my boy who just moved here, I don't know if it's, like, the hype of just being in LA or, like, whatever, but I'll hit him up and be like, yo, are you free tomorrow? I got to shoot. And he'll just be like, I'm down. And, like, that's the end of the conversation. My other boy, I'll be like, yo, you free tomorrow? I got to shoot. He'll be like, oh, who's the artist? What time? When do you think we'll rap? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, it's an opportunity to get paid. Like, do you want it or you don't? Like, I can't answer 20 questions right now. And, like, that makes me question what somebody's intentions are. Like, if you ask me who the artist is, are you going to say yes just because you like the artist? Like, what's the question for it, you know? So, like, that made me look back to when people were hiring me to AC, which I still AC a lot, and it's like, I was wondering, like, have I ever asked that question? Has everyone ever, like, seen it the way I'm seeing it now? So it's like, we're always, like, learning, dude, and we're always...
Absolutely.
You know? So
all of this success is happening, like, with you getting all these connections. You're also running, like, a pretty big YouTube channel as well. Like, how did you keep that sort of balance with, like, what you're doing in LA as well?
I've never looked at that as running a YouTube channel. I just upload shit whenever I shoot something.
Well, you got a pretty big fan base on there too. So, like, were you? I mean, I know you were aware of that and knew that you were going, like, a pretty big. At least for, like, I mean, for someone who makes car videos and you're getting millions of views, like, you had to have known that you're doing something.
Well, like,
pretty crazy.
So car video, like, I don't know better, like, because that's, like, a very generic. I don't know how to say it, but, like, specifically those, like, Stancy low car videos. There were only a couple, like, before Ronins were a thing, there were only a couple guys doing it, and most of the people who did it were using, like, really intense EDM music and, like, really crazy transitions, and, like, I could never watch any of that, because I, like...
That just wasn't your thing.
That wasn't my thing, yeah, so, like, I was super into, like cloud rap and all this weird music, so I would, like, take my time with those videos and put in that music, and I noticed in the comments everyone would say, like, not everyone, but a lot of people would be like, yo, I love the music, like this is a different vibe, blah blah blah. So like,
Yeah, I remember me and Chris were watching one of your car videos from maybe like a year ago, a couple weeks back, and we were like, damn, like we never heard the music before. It was like very chill and like calm, and like it was cool. Like you have all these fast cars, and so you would think like the music should be fast paced, but when you couple that with very chill and relaxing music, it's a cool little like contrast that you have going on.
yeah, it was a different vibe, and it just like felt right. So a lot of people, you know, were into that. So like going back to like when I was interning for Arrow for 6 months, literally the day I moved here, my boy texted me and he was like, yo, there's a meet at this LTMW shop, like you should go. And I was like, nah, like I just moved, I want to relax. And he's like, bro, you should go. And that was that whole like say yes to everything mindset. So I went, got coverage of the event, whatever. This is an example of you never know what's going to happen. And
Yeah.
I had a glide cam at the time, and I got a shot of some dude taking a photo of some models. And then I found out later that the dude was this guy, John Zhang, who's like a big automotive photographer. And he hit me up and was like, yo, I like your video. I'm about to shoot one of their cars in this tunnel in downtown, the one that has all the lights.
Yeah.
I've never been there before. And I was like, yeah, man, absolutely, yeah. And then that video blew up on Vimeo. It had like 100K. And then, which isn't a lot, but like on Vimeo back then, that was like, for a car video, that was like
Even
a
100K
decent
on
number.
Vimeo is still decent. Like Vimeo's not this like record breaking like
No,
platform where people go viral on it. So like 100K on Vimeo is like, that's even today that's really
yeah,
impressive.
this was like 2013, I think.
So
or
that's like a
2012.
big deal that it hit 100. Yeah, yeah.
And then back then, that's when Facebook was a thing, and Facebook pages had crazy viewers. So like a ton of Facebook pages shared it, and then like so many car related gigs came from that gig, and it was all because my boy convinced me to go to that and then shoot that one guy. And you never know, but
Crazy.
like that's what ballooned my whole like I guess relationship with like people in the car world in LA. And then from there I went to like another car meet, and like I don't know why, there's nothing special about the video, but it got like 3 million views. And like I had people, like I got a car show in Poland because the dude saw this one video I did and he was like, yo, this was sick, blah blah blah. So it's like I did all that for free, I did all that for fun, like whatever, with no intent of it ever leading to anything. But like companies would hit me up and be like, yo, we saw you did this video, can you do the same for us, and blah blah blah. And like I never intended for the YouTube channel to become anything. It was just like a place to host shit.
Yeah.
But like it led to so many opportunities. And like I haven't been shooting as much creative on the side shit at all, because like now that I live on my own and stuff, I have to focus on like paying bills and shit,
Of
which
course,
is
yeah.
shitty. But like I used to have people hit me up and be like, yo, you want to shoot like my car tomorrow night? I'd just be like, fuck yeah. And now it's
Yeah.
like, no, I gotta wake up early for something the next day or whatever. But it's like I've been thinking about posting more on that YouTube channel. It's funny you mentioned that, because I haven't posted on it in like months.
It's a good platform. You already have one sort of built there, so I mean, you could even post your own stuff that you want to and just try out and see what works. But I guess the majority of that subscriber base is car people, though, so I don't know.
It's like all car people.
Yeah.
It's all car related stuff. But like my big concern, like I mentioned earlier with that, is like when you're doing those like one man shoot car things, you're in this whole like videography mindset. And I really want to be surrounding myself with more of the whole like real productions,
cinematographers,
like,
totally.
like I'm meeting a director, we're talking about his vision, you know, we're like scouting locations, we're doing camera rentals, like we're doing it by the books.
Versus
and,
like Johnny with the Ronin A7S, who's like 17.
Yeah, versus the whole like come shoot my car, hang out the window with your gimbal and get some gimbal shots. Like it's an opportunity to make content, but it's not like at the level
You've been there and done that already, so now it's kind of like the next phase of what you want to do.
But the thing is, like that, like there's only a couple guys. There's Crispy, Halcyon, me, and like a few other people in that whole like Stancy car video world who are like consistently putting out stuff. And it's like, I'm not saying this to like brag or anything, but people still consider us, like me, Chris, and Ant, like the top 3 guys who are doing it. Yeah. So like I don't want to stop, because I still think that whole community needs more of that type of content provided, you know, because not a lot of people are still doing like that whole chill, like I just want to continue to like put what I like into that community, because I think,
and have your own voice there.
Yeah, like dude, like I had I don't know if you know Xavier Wolf and like Bones.
Absolutely.
But I used one of their songs back in like 2014 before like I don't know anything, and then X told me that one of the main reasons he got into cars was because of the video I used his song in. And then a bunch of kids told me the whole reason they found out about that whole section of rap music was because of like that video. And it like made me realize like, yo, we can just continue to like merge all these cultures, because like cars are a big part of, you know, culture, but everyone's got these like stock Maseratis and like just bullshit, and it's like, this is what's cool. And like once you like show that to the people who are doing all these other like huge things in the culture, it can just like all be intertwined.
It's funny you say all that, yeah, because my buddy Alex, who showed me your work, and that's how I found out all about you. He's big into the car scene, and I remember like talking when he talks cars, like it's almost like a foreign language. Yeah. Like I understand, like now I know when you say like stance cars, like I get that. But he was just showing me those cars, like, yo, bro, you gotta see this Audi that they bagged and all this stuff. And I was just like, I don't know what this means, but okay, cool. And he like shows me all this stuff, and it's like it's really interesting, because it's not like the cool cars aren't the ones that pull up like the Lambos or the Ferraris. It's like these Lexuses that they like trick out, and like cars that are like, you know, the Evos and stuff like that people are doing. It's like what you wouldn't expect. You would think when someone goes to a car meetup, they want to see like. Which, of course, people want to see, like, these $1 million cars, but, like, the cool stuff is, like, the Evos and all this kind of stuff.
Well, you can make those $1 million cars cool, too. Like,
totally,
the first time I met your roommate, Chris, was on a Ray Shremmer Juicy J video. Yeah. Directed by Max, shout out. And Russ Frazier.
I met him for the first time last week, Max.
Yeah, you guys were doing that Gunner Stall.
Well, Chris and Max.
Fans, bro.
Yeah.
That shit was sick.
Chris and Max were doing that. I just came out to hang out. But, yeah, that was the first time I met Max. He's a really cool dude. He's just... Everyone's just too chill. It's just awesome. He's like the most relaxed dude ever, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Super good dude. But yeah, so I remember that shoot. There was a Gimme Gimme.
Yeah, Gimme. And I asked my buddy Josh, who owns a shop in SoCal that does a lot of like air suspension and other modifications to like high-end luxury cars like Lambos, Ferraris, all that. I asked if we could get one of the cars on the music video, and they all linked it up. And when the car was on bags, it was like a super, it was the Lamborghini Huracan, if anyone wants to check that out. But when Jimmy from Ray Shremmer saw the car air out, he was like, holy shit, like talking to his guy, he's like, I want this on my car. Like he said, he like spit a quick rhyme about the car airing out and all this shit. And I was like, dude, if like more of these like styled like proper cars were introduced into this whole like culture of rap music, like it would just like make everything even cooler, you know. Like Neek from Antisocial, he like came up through cars, so like he's got a Bentley Bentayga on air and like all this crazy shit, and it's just like it would just be cool to see all that come together more. So I want to really like try to use videos to like help people see.
You clearly
like,
have a voice in that, so that's definitely something you can help bring to life.
Trying to speak a little louder, you know.
Yeah.
Being heard a little bit, but I don't know. That was a lot, dude.
You're in this position right now. You're growing like crazy. You have this awesome fan base. You're doing some amazing work. We just watched your reel that you put out. What was that, like 2 months ago?
I think so, yeah.
Fucking incredible.
Oh, thanks.
So that we were really stoked on that. So like, what is kind of like the next thing that you're looking to do in like the next year and a half, or do you even look that far down?
It's crazy because things just pop up.
Yeah,
you know, like we'll get.
But do you have any sort of goals in the back of your head that you are looking to complete personally or professionally?
I've been writing a short film. I've never written a script before, so that's like an experience.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's gonna happen there, but I'm just like, I've been really trying to. I feel like I've been like in like a creative funk because I've been working so much for money, and I don't like that. Like just because I have to, you know, to pay the bills. So I kind of have been trying to like go back to like things that really inspired me. Like there's this producer, Eric Dingus. I've been like obsessed with him since like 2012. And I've just like, back when I used to listen to his music, I listened to it late at night and just like write all these ideas out, and I haven't done that. So I've been like returning to that, and I just want to create more work that like just kind of stands alone, you know, like, cause I like, everyone has their own things that like they go back to, but like I want someone to say like for example, like totally bad example, but like the Jay-Z like Big Pimpin' video, like anyone who grew up in that era will remember that video because it's just like a standalone piece that like represents like a piece in time that's like, and I want to create something that like lasts like that, you know, like something
timeless, yeah.
Something timeless, yeah. But I hate the phrase "stay busy" because we're not doing it to stay busy, but like I just want to keep creating and keep learning and just keep getting better, you know.
Yeah, I think I get caught up in that too. Is just where you get in this funk of like you just book all this work, which is great that you're getting booked out, but it's always, you know, it's a vision that like the artist or the client or whoever you're working with, like you guys have this shared vision. It's not like yours 100%. So like you get stuck in that realm, which is awesome when you work with creative people, but you want to be able to kind of work on your own stuff where you have like the say 100%. You know, it's not like it's not like you not feel like it doesn't feel like work. It's like you're just doing it because
it never feels like work. But like even working with directors I love, like when like if Shady were to hit me up with something that I was really into, like even if it's totally his vision, like I want to like help him paint that picture, you know.
Right.
And like so like I have no problem not stepping into like the director's position or like stepping into like the creative on that end at all,
right.
and like just sticking to cinematography. But I just want to work on more stuff that like is like substantial content, you know.
Well, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And never does it felt like work. I was totally worded wrong, but
yeah, no, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Just like when you're when you're working 18 hours a day on these shoots, that you're eventually like, okay, I'm ready to like, kind of like, you know, wind down just a little bit. But no, I totally feel you on that, because I guess some of the shoots that we do, not so much recently, we've been doing a lot more where it's like a lot of creative artists that we're working with. But sometimes they'll have like a decent budget, but they'll want like the most basic thing. And it's one of those things, you know, it's just gonna go down this like crapshoot of like every other video that's been like done like that before. So just in the last few months and weeks that I've been thinking like that's just like you, I want to make stuff that's, I think, timeless, maybe kind of like a weird thing to say, but just that kind of pretentious, but just something that like has some sort of substance and like quality that someone can look at and be, okay, this was like art and like I appreciate this. It's not just like the typical like run of the mill type of video.
Do you know the UK collective Last Night in Paris?
Mm.
So they make music, they're in fashion, they make short films, like they're not any specific discipline, but they made a film called Pure a few years ago, I think like 2015 or 14. You should check it out, it's crazy. And like I can watch that thing back to back like 5 times, 6 times, even after seeing it 100 times, and it'll still like want me to go create, you know? And it's just like,
it's a nice motivator.
It's an incredible piece, man, and it's like I want to create something like that. And like I don't know, it's just like we're in such a lucky city to be in, where like we have all of these musicians who are constantly creating, and like other people in our, you know, field who are constantly creating.
And I forget sometimes that we live in LA. You get so used to it that you're like, oh wait, no, I live in like the city that everyone wants to come to, so I have all these resources. Like it's just second nature now. Everyone
out here is hungry, but it's not like a New York hungry. It's like everyone will plot on their own like schedules, and then when it comes time to do it, like everyone puts in 100%, you know. And I just want to keep doing that, you know.
Totally. All right, so we just talked for like an hour and 8 minutes. This is dope. Is there anything else that we didn't bring up that you want to talk about, or do you think everyone knows who you are now?
Oh, I feel like I was just like on a tangent.
I learned a lot of stuff. No, this was awesome.
No,
any advice you have for people who are, I guess, maybe everyone just started back school? So you have any advice for, I guess, freshmen going into film school that kind of don't know what to do right now?
Definitely always say yes. You never know what's gonna happen. Can't stress that one enough.
Yeah.
It's not about the gear, so please stop DMing me what camera I recommend you buy, because they're all the same nowadays. Like, if you get a Canon versus a Nikon, like obviously get a Canon for video, but like what I'm saying is it's not about the gear, so like don't get lost in the gear. It's about the content.
And the person behind the camera.
And the person behind the camera, yeah. And the crew. It's like the whole crew. So don't forget that this is a team thing. So don't be afraid to ask for help, because you never know when someone you ask for help is going to need help, and vice versa, you know. And keep it groovy, man. I don't know.
Sick. All right, bro. I appreciate it.
Dude, thank you.
Always. Cool.
Shout out Visual Season.
Yo.